If Crawford has it in his mind
to fight
Boots, you might as well do it now.
I'd compare it to this. Jaron Ennis, Terence Crawford. Jaron Ennis is Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter. Terence Crawford's Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan.
There you go.
Perfect. A+,
And if you just look at the highlight reels.
What about the Terence Crawford fight? I'm tired of answering questions about it. He already said millions of times that he not fighting me or looking my way, so I'm just tired of answering those questions, And if a fight happened, it happened. I wanted it to happen, but.
Jaron Boots Ennis is done waiting and has officially called out Terence Crawford at 154 as he wants to prove who truly runs the division and is ready to test Bud's resolve. And when tensions rose, Eddie Hearn stepped in asking, "Tell me a fight other than Crawford that you would really want to see Crawford in that is realistic," and that line ignited the boxing world, framing Crawford versus Ennis as not just a fan desire but an inevitable clash, with the timing, tone and confidence suggesting something could already be in motion. So now all eyes are on Crawford, as any silence could speak louder than words. But just as fans imagined the showdown, Crawford's response cooled the hype and shifted the narrative.
You consider going back down to 154 and face Jaron Ennis, the guy who prepared Canelo?
Crawford's response stopped the buzz in its tracks because the man everyone expected to dominate at 154 made it clear he is not moving back for Ennis, and that statement flipped the narrative, leaving fans debating whether it was strategy or hesitation, with some arguing he is protecting his legacy while others believe he is avoiding the one fighter young and hungry enough to truly test him. But either way, it added a whole new layer of drama to an already intense rivalry, and now with Ennis calling him out louder than ever, the tension between the established star and the rising king has never been sharper, and even Crawford's coach Bomac stepped in, adding more fuel to the fire with his own take.
He got our leftovers. Why would Bud want to go backwards? I wouldn't go backwards. Bud looking for bigger and better fights. So where he can etch his name in the concrete forever. I don't know.
Bomac did not hold back, defending his fighter with his tone speaking volumes that Crawford has already conquered every mountain worth climbing and going back is not part of the plan. But that statement only made the storyline more explosive, as fans wondered if it was confidence or a sign that Team Crawford wants no part of the young lion waiting at 154. So fans saw it as both, and the boxing world erupted in debate, because when a coach talks like that, something bigger is usually brewing behind closed doors. And one thing is certain, this rivalry just got much deeper. While Eddie Hearn was fired up, as Crawford's refusal clearly did not sit well, and his reaction said it all.
Ennis. Impossible. There isn't one. So he's the best welterweight in the world. I mean, we just finished a FaceTime with His Excellency, who asked me, Will we make the Crawford?
Generational talent. I think he is unbelievable, and there was no hate in his words, just honesty, because Hearn admitted Crawford is a generational fighter, but made a key point that timing matters, as many of the names on Crawford's resume were already on the decline when they faced him, which wasn't disrespect, it was truth, and it set the perfect stage for the next name. He brought up Jaron Ennis, and that's when Hearn turned his focus straight to Boots, with his words making it clear he believes the future has already arrived. As he stated, the difference is his Boots ISNT. At the back end of his career, he ISNT coming off eye surgery, a terrible car crash like Errol Spence, or carrying 80 fights on his record, while Canelo is a veteran of 68 professional contests. So Hearn's tone sharpened, filled with conviction, and to him Boots represents everything Crawford's last few opponents weren't: young, fast, and untouched by age or damage, with no excuses, no fatigue, just raw skill and hunger. And this wasn't a comparison, it was a challenge, as Hearn was saying this is the fight that proves who's truly the best. And as he spoke, it was clear he wasn't just promoting, he genuinely believed Boots Ennis is the future Crawford has been avoiding for too long. Yet Hearn didn't turn it into pure criticism, he balanced it with respect, showing his frustration came from admiration, not hate, by saying it's not Crawford's fault, he would have fought them all and he probably would have beaten them all. Crawford is a generational great, and that line softened the edge, but only briefly, because beneath the praise was a challenge: if you're truly that great, why say no to Boots? And that's what Hearn couldn't get past, as his respect for Crawford only made his disbelief stronger, because in his eyes legends don't turn down challenges, they define them. Finally, Hearn added a dose of business realism, hinting the story is far from over, by saying Crawford has earned the right to fight anyone he wants and will only step back in the ring for a significant payday, so we have got to do a lot on our side to make that fight as lucrative as it needs to be, and even in frustration Hearn stayed focused, knowing Crawford has the power to choose but also knowing every fighter has a price, with his words suggesting Team Ennis is already preparing to make this fight happen whatever it takes, so there was strategy in his tone, not surrender, because for Hearn this isn't just another payday. It is a fight that defines eras, and he is determined to make it real, with the fire in his voice making one thing clear: the world might finally get the clash it has been waiting for. And just as the noise around Eddie Hearn's comments began to cool, Jaron Ennis himself stepped in, calm, confident, and brutally honest.
I want to do it.
Do you respect him as, like, when he's like, I got a couple fights left, I'm at the end, I'm only trying to get mega fights, so...
I understand it, but don't lie or cap to the net and make it seem like I had the opportunity to fight you and I didn't. I never did. You know what I'm saying? And then that one time that I did, we said, they called, and we said, we never heard nothing else back about it. So, like...
Right.
I mean, I respect it though. I mean, get your money. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing. But don't be capping.
Ennis did not hold back, as he made it clear he is ready for Crawford anytime at any weight, but it is Crawford who is not ready for him. Still, he spoke with respect, acknowledging Crawford's greatness while calling out the excuses surrounding the fight, and his tone was not angry, it was steady, like a man who knows his moment is coming. So when he said Crawford should not act like he has other options, you could feel the shift, because he was not begging for the fight, he was daring Crawford to face him. And with his final line, "Fine, go get your money," Ennis sent a message that echoed through the boxing world that he is not chasing, he is waiting at the top of the hill. Then a new voice entered the conversation, with Coach Bredman Edwards stepping in with his own take on the Crawford situation.
I don't even want to get into no Boots and Crawford talk. You know what I'm saying? Nobody got into Crawford and Floyd is the same years apart as Boots and Wichicom. Nobody ever tried to make them fight. So I don't want to get into that because I don't really know if it's possible.
Bredman did not jump into the hype. Instead, he pumped the brakes, with his tone calm but firm, as he reminded everyone that not every dream fight is realistic, and he made a comparison that gave people pause, that sometimes generations in boxing just do not align, and it was not about fear or avoidance, it was about timing and perspective. So Bredman suggested that forcing the matchup too soon could spoil what might one day be an iconic showdown, with his words carrying weight not because they were loud but because they came from a man who truly understands how boxing works. And he went further, offering a deeper look into why Crawford versus Ennis might not happen just yet.
And nobody cared. It wasn't like it was a duck. It wasn't a duck. It was like they kind of different eras, even though they fighting at the same time. So I don't really know if it's possible, because Boots will have to leave 54, and it's a bunch of work at 54. Crawford will have to come down from 68 and clear out 68, which ain't no guarantee. You know what I mean? It's like too much room. We got to see.
He broke it down logically, highlighting how both fighters are at very different stages of their careers, because Crawford is focused on conquering higher divisions while Ennis is still carving his path at 154. And Bredman's tone was not defensive, it was realistic, as he reminded fans that boxing runs on timing, not fantasy matchups, and there is still work to be done on both sides before that dream fight makes sense. So his perspective added a new layer to the story, balancing the excitement with the patience the sport sometimes demands. And it was not a no, it was a not yet. And just as the debate split between timing and legacy, Max Kellerman stepped in, flipping the energy completely with his take.
In his mind, to fight Boots, you might as well do it now. What did Floyd Mayweather do with Canelo Alvarez? Now Canelo was already an enormous draw, and that's the difference. But he didn't wait till he got super old, and Canelo entered his prime.
Did not talk about waiting or avoiding with his usual sharp delivery. He made it clear that now is the perfect moment for Crawford and Ennis to collide, and his argument brought back the excitement fans had been craving, with two fighters at the top of their powers in a bout that could define an era, as he spoke with conviction like a man who has seen too many what ifs fade away in boxing history. So Kellerman's take reignited hope that the stars are finally aligning, and it was not just analysis, it felt like a call to action. Then came former world champion Sean Porter, a man who shared the ring with Crawford, and his words carried the weight of experience.
It's just
Somebody getting stopped.
I don't know. That this fight right here, if this fight were to happen this year, it will go down in history as one of the classic fights that go with the Marvin Hagler and Tommy Hearns, that go with the Ray Leonard and
Porter spoke with genuine or imagining what a clash between Crawford and Ennis could mean for boxing, and his tone was not about prediction, it was about legacy, as you could hear the respect in his voice when he compared it to the legendary battles of past eras, because in his framing this would not just be another big fight, it would be one fans talk about for decades. So Porter's perspective gave the matchup a sense of history and destiny, as if it were already written among the sport's greatest rivalries, and it was admiration mixed with excitement, the kind only a fighter who has been there can convey. And as Porter continued, his tone shifted from admiration to something deeper, a pure understanding of what makes both men so dangerous.
Got two alpha males in the ring that are true alpha males, you know what I mean? I was an alpha male until I got in the ring with that dude.
It just
that dude, like, it was like the more he wasn't allowing me to do what he wasn't. And it was like, damn, okay.
He described the matchup not just as two boxers colliding, but as two alpha males entering the same space, both refusing to yield, and Porter's insight carried weight because he has lived that reality and has felt Crawford's presence inside the ropes, with his words painting a picture of a mental and physical war where neither man is willing to step back. So it was not just about punches, it was about pride, control and dominance, and you could tell Porter understood exactly how intense that fight would be, as it is the kind of raw energy that turns a matchup into a moment and a moment into history. Then came a take blending sports insight with pure boxing IQ, as Sean Ziddle's creative comparison instantly grabbed everyone's attention.
Jaron Ennis, Terence Crawford. Jaron Ennis is Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter. Terence Crawford's Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan.
There you go.
Perfect. A+,
And if you just look at the highlight reels, you might actually think Vince Carter is better.
Ziddle broke down the Crawford versus Ennis debate in a way no one expected by using basketball legends to illustrate the point, and his analogy perfectly highlighted the generational gap with the young explosive energy of Ennis against the refined greatness of Crawford. And it was not just clever, it captured how fans see both fighters right now, with the flash and flair of Ennis against Crawford's polished dominance. So Ziddle's tone was playful yet insightful, suggesting that greatness is not just about highlight reels, it is about legacy, control and longevity at the top, and the comparison left fans thinking they might be witnessing history repeat itself, just with gloves instead of sneakers. Then came Tim Bradley, never afraid to speak his mind, with a strong warning for anyone getting carried away by the Ennis hype.
Come on, Sean. I respect Ennis. Listen, I respect Ennis. I love his pops. His pops is cool. His whole crew is tight. You know what I mean? Like, but who the hell is Spence as Boots fault? It's a different type. Like, you can be riding that wave. You've been getting all these knockouts of all these other different guys, but you've never been in the ring with an animal like Crawford. And when you get in there for the first time and you get hit upside your head and you see that you can't do the stuff that you usually do against the guys that you fought, you know.
Bradley's tone was sharp, almost like a wake-up call to the fans, as he made it clear that while he respects Ennis and his talent, Crawford is a different kind of beast, because according to him, stepping into the ring with Bud is not like facing anyone Ennis has fought before. It is a whole new level of danger, and Bradley's words carried the authority of someone who has been there and knows what elite competition feels like. So he was not trying to tear anyone down, but to remind everyone that highlight reels and real fights are very different, with his message simple, that the ring will tell the truth. And as he continued, his tone shifted from fiery to cautious, like a mentor who does not want to see potential wasted.
For him to get in this type of fight with Crawford, you know what I'm saying? I would hate for him to get in this fight and look average. Look average. Because if you go back and you watch a lot of, and he's a spectacular fighter. Boots is a spectacular fighter. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Boots. I think he's next. But he needs to be tested. He needs to be tested.
Spoke with genuine concern for Ennis' career, saying he does not want the young star to rush into a fight that could make him look ordinary too soon. And Bradley's words showed both respect and experience, because he is a fan of Ennis, but he also understands timing, and to him Ennis is special, but he still needs a true test before stepping into the fire with Crawford. So it was not criticism, it was tough love from a fighter who has seen how quickly hype can fade in boxing, with his message echoing Through the debate that talent is one thing but proving it against the very best is another story entirely, and at the end of it all one thing is clear: Jaron Boots Ennis versus Terence Bud Crawford is not just another fight discussion, it is a battle between generations, with youth versus legacy and the future versus the present, with every voice from Eddie Hearn's frustration to Crawford's silence, from Porter's respect to Bradley's caution, adding fuel to a fire that is hard to ignore. So the boxing world feels like it is holding its breath, waiting for the moment both men finally settle it inside the ring. But what do you think? Is Crawford protecting his legacy, or is he just being smart about timing? And is Ennis really ready to take on one of the best ever? Alright everyone, stay tuned for the latest in boxing news, highlights, subscribe to Ring Headquarters and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Be sure to watch our other videos too. Until next time, take care and stay safe.